So, the conversation today is about loyalty. And I appreciate that people like tapped in and people that know me, text me and hit me up and gave me feedback. Like, that's what it's about. And the question was really more so like, oh, because it seemed like the content is curated for like the men, as far as how, like, what they should plan to expect from the ideal woman for them. Um, and it's not that. It's actually, for people. It's about people. Because it seemed like there's a disconnect in the loyalty aspect, as far as like what people understand about themselves and what they're willing to accept from others when it comes to them. I mean, Brandon at the 290th degree. So, you got to take that time and get to know yourself. Know what your no-fly zone is. Know what you can accept. Be brutally honest with yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're going to spend more time with yourself than anybody. You've been with yourself up until however old you are right now. Until however old you are when you transition. So, you got a lot of time with yourself that you need to kind of like master that before you integrate others into your aura. I'll be honest. And this is men, women. It's what it is. Because, everybody is happy and, when everything's going well, when, we're spending money, we're happy, when we're taking trips and we're doing this and we're doing that, and whatever means it's acquired by, if that shit crumble, are you able to cope with that within your brand? Like your brand standard of yourself, are you able to deal? Are you gonna fold the fuck up? Because it seems like there's just like a lot of jumping, and we jump into this and we do this without a clear understanding of oneself. And it's not something that you just look like. The space I'm coming from when I'm speaking on this, I'm speaking to you, of 20 years of growth. And another 40 years needed. This is 20 years worth of growth, of headspace, of understanding, of brutal honesty, a lot of time by myself. I spent a lot of time by myself. I know my capacity. Don't, have a high capacity for foolishness. I just don't. And, mastering that, when shit hits the fan, really hits the fan, are these things that you can cope with? Getting drawn down on, people at your door, documents. Are you ready for that? And this could even be like in your friend capacity. There could be people that run with you and they be having a lot going on. Is that aligned with your brand? Because birds of a feather flock together. And I feel like, there's a storm that happens when things start unraveling, and it's not everything directly in the path that suffers. There's casualties all along the sides that are impacted because, people didn't know themselves. They got caught up in some shit. Now they dragging other people into their shit. Energy's all fucked up. A lot. So you gotta really assess that. Oh, I want to give a crazy shout out to Kamala. You rock. That's history in the making. But that goes again into brand. Goes into brand. I look at, these political aspirations and these people and these positions and stuff. And it's still up to me to figure it out. Regardless of legislation, whatever, they create, whatever little coins they want to, trickle down to us, whatever. So you got to figure out a way to really brand yourself, identify with it, and flag and run with your brand and stand on it, because you got to sleep with that shit at night. And if you don't pick carefully, you know, you'll have some shit that it'll ruin you. And don't think ruin is in monetary, because everything's not monetary. You could be ruined, you know, emotionally, so traumatized, anything. So, you know, even like for me, dating and interacting with people or doing that, like, I need time in between for I can just absorb whatever the lesson was. There's always a lesson. Nothing has been without lesson. Noted, learned, applied. You know, you gotta really take that time out and address your traumas, whatever it is. I have stuff in my own mind, you know what I'm saying? It be my own issue and it's in my mind. That's me. I address that shit. So I don't take all of this, you know, LAX carousel worth of luggage into this new interaction. Deal with your shit. Counseling, whatever it has to be. People act like, you know, it's just what you could see. Like, you have to take time in your brand to take care of your mental space, your energy, emotions, your spirit, and building your mind, you know, thinking about 5, 10, 20-year goals, working toward that daily. Like, my personal brand isn't identifying and every day, like, I have to be magical. That's not it for me. That's not it. So making sure that each day I've put something in toward the end game, to the end goals, that I'm clear, that I'm not kind of like getting murky off my path and going a different direction, and reassessing my interactions and who I interact with and how I allow people to interact with me. Like, there's a lot that even if you don't co-sign it because you allow it in your presence, that applies. We just gotta take a careful look. Be cognizant. Think about it. If you're in a relationship or interaction with somebody right now, you know, it's gonna be difficult for you to really assess and be honest with yourself. I don't know how to work through that. But if you are so lucky that you're in between spaces, apply some of that. You know, rebuff, refine, retune, recalibrate. Keep it pushing. And understand that every argument or contention or interaction that's unsavory doesn't come with like this war. Like, there's no war required to just step away from the table. It's okay. It's not a loss because you don't want to interact and do that. You just, I don't know. You don't feel obliged or anything. Practice that. Self-sustaining. Self-sustaining as far as being okay being alone took a lot of time, you know, for me to acquaint myself with being alone, and I'm okay.